woke up early for this one, watched a lot of movies yesterday, and went to this theater very early, and there was like 50 people in this auditorium, every single one of them was older than me. And I sat down, and a commercial for Yellowstone came on, and it said, coming back in November. Every single one of those people in that theater all whispered, November, 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 November. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're all here for Kevin Costner. Horizon, American Saga, Chapter 1 is about chronicles of a multifaceted 15-year span of pre- and post-Civil War expansion and settlement of the American West. From director Kevin Costner. It's been a long time since I've said that name because the last time he directed a movie was in 2003's Open Range. So this is my first time ever seeing a Kevin Costner movie in a movie theater, and I like Kevin Costner. I have always liked him. He's just an actor that I just really like, and I am a fan of Yellowstone, and it's very sad that he's not going to be in Yellowstone Season 5 or in the future, but with this movie, I was really open to it. He's directing it. It looked like he was starring in it, and then I saw that runtime. I was like, all right, I got to plan this out, and then I finally went and saw it this morning, and I can tell you this. Horizon is the definition, in my opinion, of a movie that is begging to be a TV show. Now, is it a bad TV show? No, I had a good time with this movie. It's a really solid movie. Definitely older crowd, older people will probably go towards this movie, but I think all of us film snobs need to at least give credit for this movie because this is Kevin Costner behind the camera. The man is an Oscar winner. He won it for Dances with Wolves over Goodfellas, but with this movie, I walked in really intrigued to see a new Kevin Costner movie of him on the camera, and I can say this movie is very well directed. Kevin Costner has not lost touch. This movie felt old-fashioned. It just felt like a good story with a cast set in the West. If this would have came out in the 90s or anything like that, this would be number one at the box office this summer. Guarantee it. But nowadays, you don't get these kind of movies. You get, obviously, the higher budget, big movies and movies with more star power. This movie just felt old-fashioned Western. And if you don't know anything about me, I love horror movies. I want to direct a horror movie. But another genre I would really want to direct is Western. And watching this movie, I was into this world. Again, I like Westerns. I really like seeing the Old West. I like seeing when the first settlement was happening. And this movie explores a lot of that in this movie. And we get to see multiple stories around the West in this 3-hour runtime. And I think Kevin Costner does a fantastic job of keeping the pace of a story beat to where you're not too bored, because there are moments in this movie, it's just a slow movie. It's the West, a lot of talking, a lot of riding on horses, and then when there's action, but for the most part, it's a Western movie. It's exactly what you expect from a Western movie, and I think the cast all around is very good. There's no one in this movie that gave a bad performance. Everyone is on their A game. There's tons of people in this movie, I can't even name all of them. I will say, there is no main character. Kevin Costner might be on the poster. He is in the movie. He doesn't show up till an hour in because, again, this movie is different stories and it's structured to go in different places at different times. And that's what I was saying about this movie is the definition of begging to be a TV show. I'm not saying this is a complete negative, but when you're watching this movie, it literally feels like a TV show. When you're watching Game of Thrones, where there's multiple storylines, multiple characters, and it's jumping around, and then some episodes you'll stay on there a little bit longer than others, that is this movie. It's 3 hours of that, and some storylines are more interesting than the others. I think the opening one, where we actually see a village get torn down and this family is stuck under this bunker thing, that story is our main one, where Michael Rooker and Sam Worthington, I would say that's the main one. Then you have Kevin Costner dealing with a issue with a woman and a child, and that stuff's really interesting. The one storyline that honestly, it felt oh, we'll see them in the next movie, was the Luke Wilson one. Yeah, that one was completely okay. And then it was in there for probably 20 minutes, and then we just never see him again. I'm all right, we'll see you in the second one, because they were just in there for, I don't even know why. And I can say this, for it just being a 3-hour movie and so many characters, It would work so much better if this was episodic. Truly. Like, I cannot say, like, this movie is a great movie. It's because it just feels like a TV show. It feels like we're trying to put in episodes together to make a feature length. And it's not a bad show. Like, I'm into the stories, I'm into the West. There's good acting, good direction. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. But for 3 hours, and all these characters and all these storylines, it can feel just long. It can feel like it's dragging a little bit. And again, there are storylines that are more interesting than others. And in the end, I really liked it. Like, I like the West, so I might be a little biased. I like Kevin Costner. There's really good acting. There's a good story in just the West itself, exploring the complete West and the first settlement, and obviously Native Americans. Like, there's so many characters in this movie that it's kind of hard to keep up with so many, and the storylines all trying to just jumble together. Sometimes the editing of like how it's structured I found a little bit jarring. Like the first 10 minutes you see like a little bit of a story, and then it jumps to the Sam Worthington story for like 40 minutes, and then we get Kevin Costner. Oh, and then we're back to the beginning storyline. Oh, and then we introduce Luke Wilson's storyline. So like the structure of it just felt like kind of crammed, because I feel like it should have been a TV show with just long episodes and the full season's worth. But in the end, I like this movie. I'm going to give Horizon American Saga Chapter 1 a B-. Like, truly, like, I would say if you're a big fan of Kevin Costner, definitely go see this. Probably your parents or your grandparents want to see this more than you, but all the younger crowd people, if you're into Westerns, give it a chance, but if not, probably you're not cup of tea. It is a long movie. And you guys, here's a movie review. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.